Hi folks, Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Kind of blog post I want to share with you. Of course, we review the latest in social media and technology. We're doing one of our phone comparison videos today. Of course, we have all the major phone companies sending us phones, so be sure to tune in to the chrisvossshow.com channel and be sure to subscribe to all of our updates so that you can get all the latest as they come out. What we're doing here is we're comparing two phones here, the iPhone 4S against the T-Mobile Note, and this is the first Note, so there's going to be a second one coming out fairly soon. Let's get into the meat of these two products. We're going to compare them once again each other. You're going to see the camera benchmarks. You're also going to see how well the front-facing cameras work on Skype calls and everything else, so stay tuned throughout the video. On the iPhone 4S, we're looking at a height of 4.54 and a width of 2.31 times 0.37. Now, this is my personal phone, so I'm not going to push the vendor on this. With the Galaxy Note, this is from t-mobile.com. That's t-mobile.com. They've provided the Galaxy Note for us to review. Thanks to T-Mobile for taking and sharing that with us. The height on the Note is 5.78, 3.27 in width, and 0.38 in thickness. On the iPhone 4S, we're looking at a thickness of 4.94 ounces. Comparatively, on the Note, 6.28 ounces. Now, on the iPhone 4S, it has a screen size of 3.5 inches, 640 by 960 pixels at 330 ppi. It has an LCD touchscreen, capacitive multi-touch screen on it. On the display for the Galaxy Note, you're looking at a OLED full-color resolution, 800 by 1280 pixels, 5.3 diagonal screen. You can see it's much huger, and it's a Super AMOLED HD. Now, the device you're looking at here on the iPhone 4S has been upgraded to iOS 6.0, and the device on the T-Mobile Note has been upgraded. Normally it comes with Android 4.0 on it. We've got 4.04 operating on it. Hopefully in the near future it will upgrade to Jelly Bean, which would really be nice for both devices. Or, I'm sorry, well, it wouldn't be nice for both devices. That would be interesting, putting Jelly Bean on a iPhone, wouldn't it? Alright, so battery life on the iPhone 4S, 14 hours talk time, 8.3 days, 200 hours standby time, and 8 hours talk time in 3G. If you go to the battery life on the Note, you're looking at 10 hours max, 250 hours max, 10.4 days on standby. It has a 2500 milliamp lithium battery, and I don't have the details on the 4S, but if I recall rightly, it's like 1400 or 1440 milliamp batteries on it. On the Apple 4S, it has an A5 chip, a dual-core 800 megahertz ARM Cortex A9 with 512 megabytes of RAM and 16 bytes of built-in storage. On the Note, you were looking at 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon S3 dual-core processor with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, 1 gigabyte of RAM. It also has expandable memory where you can put a micro SD card in the back and expand the memory up to 32 gigabytes and be able to do that, so that's pretty good. On the resolution on the Apple iPhone 4S, it has an 8 megapixel camera, a 0.3 megapixel VGA front-facing camera. On the back, it will give you 1080p HD at 30 frames per second. On the Note, you're looking at 8 megapixels on the back with 1080p HD. Front-facing camera is 2 megapixels, so it's really good on the front-facing camera on the Note. It will give you HDMI output with the proper USB connections, and of course Apple will work with Apple if you have an Apple TV to give you Apple Air across the systems and be able to play it on an HDMI TV. So there you have it on some of the details between both these devices. I've enjoyed both of them, and I think they're both great phones, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. Now on the Apple, you're looking here at the top, we have a front-facing camera, we have a speaker, and then we have a home button. Okay, so on the T-Mobile, we have the front-facing speaker here for making calls, front-facing camera. We have the capacitive touchscreen here for the menu button, the home button, the back button, and the search button.
Okay, so and then take a look at the back of both these devices. Let's flip each one of them over. You can see here that they have different backs, and of course on the iPhone 4S we've glued on a special sticker that gives us a magnetic back for putting on magnetic lenses, so that's really cool. We put that on there. So normally this just be a nice clean glass back, as you can kind of see here. Now there's also the flash lamp, and you can see the camera eye on the iPhone 4S. On the Galaxy Note, you can see there's a camera eye here, the lamp flash here. There's a small speaker down here, and of course there's the stylus here, and the stylus of course pulls out. You can see the stylus here. We'll get into this later at the end of the video, but you can also use the clicker to do different actions on the device. So the stylus does come out of the back bottom. Now the speaker doesn't look that big, but once you pull off the back panel here, it actually does look pretty big in its size, so you can see the comparison. Now the iPhone 4S does not have a back that removes, but the Samsung Note does. Here's the place for your micro SD card and your SIM card. Of course, you can have a removable battery if you want to take and do that. Also, switch out the batteries. So you can see it's got a good speaker on it. It really does for the Note. Okay, so now here we can see on the bottoms of both devices we have the speakers on these S4S and the docking port, charging port. We have the micro USB docking port on the charging port on the Note. We have a small microphone hole down here, and then of course we have a place where the stylus takes and pops out there. Let's go ahead and spin these around. We'll take a look at the top of each device. On the top of the 4S we have a power button, and right here we have a microphone hole. We have an earphone jack. We have an earphone jack on the Samsung Note, and I believe that's pretty much it for the top of the device. Okay, so now down the right side of each device we have the SIM card area for the iPhone. We have a power button thing for the T-Mobile Note. Down the left-hand side of both devices, on the 4S we have a mute switch, buttons for volume up and down. We also have a volume up and down rocker on the Galaxy Note. Okay, so now when we look at both devices, what we're looking at is on the Apple iOS system, you basically have a left to right swipe, right to left. Of course, you can go through the different menus. You can create different folders and all that good stuff. There's not too much more you can do. You have a search mechanism here. In the notifications area, they have started a couple widgets: weather widget, tap to tweet, tap to post. You pretty much have all your different things going on there. Now with the T-Mobile Galaxy Note, you of course have the ability to do a few more different things with the device. You can see here it has widgets that you can take and add on to the background. You can create stuff like live wallpaper and adjust this how you want it. There's several different widgets you could put into the device that also accompany different. Okay, so now here you can see the speed test we've done on both devices. The iPhone 4S, of course, only runs on 3G, which is one of its limitations as compared to the Note on T-Mobile, runs on the 4G network. You can see here that we have the speed test results of the 3G. This is from Verizon, and you can see the Verizon results we have there, 3G network. And then here we have the T-Mobile. This is 4G. You can see that the Note pulls a ton of data and does very well. You may want to watch that if you're, of course, operating this on your account. But if you're on Wi-Fi, you're doing fine. So this is the download results. You can notice that both Wi-Fis are turned on right now. We're pulling from the log at a time when they were not. Alright, so using Geekbench 2, we can see how each of these devices score. We got 630 on the iPhone 4S and 879 on the Note. The industry score was 555 on the 4S compared to 736, 726 on the 4S compared to 1191 on the Note, 766 on the 4S compared to 848 on the Note, and 290 on the 4S compared to 350. We'll page down through these rest of these scores so you can take and see them. You can pause them anytime if you so like, but really you just need to see the totals on how each of the devices took and performed. You can see here the integer performance. You may notice that with the Samsung there is some scrolling lag, and we find that with the Samsung and the S3. Okay, so now here we can see both devices. We're using the GL benchmark 2.5
5.1 scores. The 4S scored 2369 frames at 21 frames per second, and the Note scored 1308 at 12 frames per second. On the next off-screen test we did, 1326 frames at 12 frames per second against 880 frames at 7.8 frames per second. Alright, so here you can see some SunSpider scores that we've taken and done for SunSpider Java browser scores. You can see here the 4S scored 1744.9 ms against 2496 ms. You of course want the lower score here is the better score. We try to get the BrowserMark site to take and work to bring you scores, but it currently is crashing. So there you are.
Alright, so what we're looking at here, this is a video call that we're taking and doing to test out the front-facing camera, so you can see how well I'm coming out. Now this is being done on the AT&T 3G network, not on a local Wi-Fi, so you can see the results that we're getting from that as this feeds in, and you can see they come through fairly well on the AT&T network. We'll switch over to Wi-Fi here. Okay, so now here's an example of where we're using this on the localized Wi-Fi, so we're getting a little bit better picture for what it's worth. But this is a localized Wi-Fi picture where we're running on the Wi-Fi between both the iPad 3 and also the iPhone 4S. So you can see how that comes out.
Okay, so now what we're doing is we're doing a Skype call, video to video. This is across a localized internet, so you can see how well each device is performing at passing the data back between each other. This is the main thing we want to be concerned about, is the view that the 2 megapixel front-facing camera is picking up and what it's transmitting. And you can see on my iPad 3 it's very, very clear and looks great. Probably one of the best images I've seen.
Okay, so let's take a look at the camera on the iPhone 4S. Now, the one thing aspect about it is it's not as customizable as the Android system. You don't have as many features, bells and whistles as you saw earlier that you can take and do. Options-wise, you can choose between a grid and HDR shooting. You can also choose between auto on and off for your flash and your lamp. You can choose between a front-facing camera and a back-facing camera. Very simple here. Of course, you got to switch to both video and taking and doing a photograph. You got your photograph button here to take and make that happen, and that's pretty much it. There's an edit button I'll show you here in a second once you go into photo mode, but it doesn't have like the ISO and exposure and all those sort of different things that it comes with on the Android. Now, here's a picture of my floor. You can see it here. It comes out very well on the Apple iPhone. It is a little bit brighter in its photo than what my actual floor looks like, but it comes out in spectacular detail and looks really good. Here's a low light situation where we're taking a picture with the low lamp. We're taking a flash photo, if you will. And you can see here the colors pop pretty well, and they come out pretty fine from what we can see. Never had too much problem with low light situations. It handles it very well. Here's a video of a low light situation that we're in. It takes fairly good pictures in low light. You can see here some of the results we're getting in a dark situation where we're using the lamp to take and light everything up. So you can see a video of a low lamp situation here. Here's another. Now let's take a look at the camera. You can see here the video camera for the iPhone 4S. It takes pictures a little bit brighter than the normal color of my floor that you can see here, but you can get a good idea of it. Okay, so you get a good idea of the camera, how it works. Now when you do have a photo and you want to make it look better, you can go into edit mode on here, and you can take and enhance it with some color. You can also eliminate red eye. You can crop it if you so choose, and you can also rotate the photo if you didn't shoot it in the right format of landscape or portrait. So you have those abilities to do that. You also have the ability to take and send it to Apple TV if you want to take and preview your photos on your Apple TV, which is one element you can't do with Android. But there is definitely a lot less customization for the photography element of the iPhone. Besides that, it does take really good photographs. In fact, probably the best I've seen out of all the Android series.
Okay, so let's take a look at the camera on the Galaxy Note. It has many of the similar features that you would normally see in an Android device. You've got your front-facing, back-facing switch here. You've got your ability to control flash on and off, and of course lamp if you're in the mode over here for taking pictures with video. You've also got your settings down here. And in the settings, you've got several different things that you can choose from. Self-portrait, flash, shooting mode. You've got all sorts, of course, different shooting modes that you can take and exercise here. So you can see those. On scene mode, you've got also different scene modes that you can take and shoot from. And you can see some of the ones that they have built into this. Every Android seems to have a little bit of a different settings or different menus. Some have less or more than others. You can, of course, adjust your exposure value if you so choose. Let's take a look at some of the other different features. You've got focus mode, timer, effects. I think this is fairly limited on effects. As you can see here, this is pretty much all we have to offer. Some of the newer Androids have much more effects that they take and do. Resolution, of course, you can take and control your white balance, ISO, metering. A lot of people like the Android product because you can do all this customization to your shots and everything else, like detection guidelines, image quality, auto contrast. You can choose whether you want to save this to your 32 gigabyte memory card that you want to have in the back, GPS tagging, all that sort of good stuff. So you can see some of the results there. You've got your shutter button here, and of course you can switch very easily and quickly between video mode and mode for camera. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the pictures that we have that we took with the device. Very impressed, of course, with the camera. Now, this is a picture we took where the sun is setting, so we're not getting the most greatest shot in the world here, but we wanted to show you some of the different colors, shadows, and angles that you can see with the device. Let's take a look at some other pictures. Once again, this is taken in a sun setting sort of situation, so we're not getting the greatest picture there. This is a good look and a good picture, I think, at least in showing not only shadows but the blue sky. And so you can see there, you can see some reds, yellows, greens, all that sort of good stuff, and they came out pretty well. Here's some video, and of course we're shooting this. It starts from a darkened area, and we're rolling around. As you can see here, as we get into the lighted area, the video colors definitely improve as we're in a much better area. And it's a great camera. I mean, you can't say anything really bad about it. Here's another photo. Let's put it that way. Now, this is a situation where we're using the lamp in video mode on the back of the device. We're in a completely dark situation. It's completely black. And so what we're going to do is you're going to see this here where the device is going to be able to light up the background, and it does a really good job of being very bright. You can see me here stepping back, and it's still illuminating very well. The colors come out very well. It does a great job. So great lamp in the back when it comes to being able to light up your background area. This is another shot taken in complete darkness, keep in mind, and you can see here how well the flash lit up the area and also was able to capture in exact detail the colors and images. So did a really good job. Yeah, we've really liked the Samsung Note and its camera, and it's much very similar to the quality cameras that you see in the other devices that are out there. Alright, so the Galaxy Note has a feature that many of the mobile phones that we review on the ChrisVossShow.com don't have. It has the ability to have its own stylus, or pen if you will, that you can use to manipulate, operate the screen, handwrite stuff, make notes by handwriting, and of course maybe draw if that's your thing. So let's take a look at how this device works. We'll take and click on it here. We're using it in a stand, so we're going to hopefully try and keep this propped up well. Now we're in edit mode, which means we can use this to draw all over the place and do different things with. So this is something that most people don't have the ability to take and do, and all that good stuff. So you can take and do this. Let's see, this is going to be, press and hold to open settings. And this will take us into swipe mode, of course, that we're getting into here. So let's see if we can switch between, oh, that's going to take us to the keyboards. So in essence, we can do several different things with this, as you can see. And of course, you can take and use it as an eraser and all that good stuff. So you can take and use it that way. Pretty cool little handy device if writing is your thing. I'm really surprised because I didn't know anybody wrote anymore, but I imagine there's lots of people that are artists that would really like this sort of aspect, or people that really are into writing. So there you go. It's the Galaxy Note, and a feature that most things you won't find on mobile phones. Okay, so all in all, we like both devices. The iPhone 4S has been a great powerhouse of a device for a long time, and certainly if you like the iOS Apple product, it's probably something you tend to love. The Galaxy Note from t-mobile.com, that's t-mobile.com, is a great phone, and you can be sure to go to their website, check it out, and tell them Chris Voss sent you. Thanks to T-Mobile for providing the phones for us. And let them know Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. Be sure to subscribe to our channels on the chrisvossshow.com and also on Chris Voss YouTube channel so you can see all our wonderful future videos that we'll be doing as all the major phone companies now send us phones. So be sure to check into that and all of our other phone comparison reviews that we've done. Thanks for coming by.